What's going on there, guys? Back with another one, man. This whole Klay Thompson, Meg Thee Stallion situation is getting worse and worse. And we have WNBA player Lexi Brown speaking out about how this has impacted her life because she is the one who's rumored to have had the affair with Klay that Meg went on line talking about. And so she feels like somebody should step forth. Now, I feel like since Meg put it out there, she probably should say, "Nah, it's not Lexi," because she is the one, remember, who went to TMZ, who went to her Instagram post and talked about everything that was going on. And Clay still hasn't said anything. All we seen was a video of him on his boat. I guess I don't know if he's out there in the bay again, but typically during the off season he goes out there in the bay and he does his thing on his boats and stuff. But yeah, man, we're gonna listen to what Lexi Brown had to say about this. Also, Ryan Clark gives his take on it, and we're gonna get into both of those. Let's check it out.
Me and Clay do know each other because we both play professional basketball. I would have considered him a friend. I do not know Meg Thee Stallion at all. Today, I'm still the only person that has denied this entire situation of my involvement and claim that this is 100% false. And the fact that I'm still the only one that is defending my name, I have no idea how to process that. And that's the last thing that I'm like struggling to process, is that there's this massive outcry for protecting Black women, and nobody has mentioned Lexi Brown's name in any of those conversations. I wouldn't have minded if either one of them came out and said it, because at the end of the day, they're the ones that are in the relationship. They're the ones that are dealing with this, and they're the ones who are communicating with each other. So one of them, if not both of them, know that it was not me. It could come from one of their teams. It could come from somewhere. The truth is over there somewhere. And I was expecting it to reveal itself from that side of it, the side that actually has the issue. Because again, I have no idea what is going on. I have no involvement. I've had no communication at all whatsoever during their relationship. So for them to just allow me to get dragged, for a lot of people to allow me to get dragged through the mud for, I don't know, it seems like 4 days now, knowing 100% what was being said was false, that surely somebody would step in and say, no, this is a lie. Please point your fingers somewhere else, or don't point them at all, but don't point them at Lexi. And by the time the game was over, it had not happened. And, I said, you know what? I'll give it a little bit more time. Surely somebody that knows the truth, and that is almost everybody involved, knows that I was not involved in this situation at all, would surely step in and say something. And it didn't happen. I was getting threats on my life. I was getting threats on my health. My family started getting comments and threats from people. I've had to hire security to travel with me places. So it got to a point where I just was scared for myself.
A ton of my timeline is Clay and Meg. And I get it, right? It's content gold. Future Naismith Basketball Hall of Famer publicly dates one of the biggest names in hip hop, and they're propped up on this celebrity relationship pedestal. And then in a very public split, there's an insinuation of infidelity. And so that's like inviting scrutiny or criticism or opinions. And there's this rush to get your content out so you can get the clicks and so you can get the views. And if you make it entertaining and if you make it funny, then more people watch it. So I think I even get that part. I don't get this incessant need for grown men to shame or to insult or to bring up someone's past or the way that they do their jobs and insinuate, or in some situations, downright admit you believe that means someone should be treated negatively or disrespected or lied to or demeaned or thrown away. And then that's when people start to take sides. And if you look at women specifically, they've backed Meg, in particular, Black women. And if you sit back and you look at the reactions, you say to yourself, they have to, because if they don't, then no one will. As we prop these relationships up, we forget that these humans are flawed and that they're imperfect, but they have feelings. And we bring up the past without bringing up that one of the parties involved was also shot. And in being shot, had to process that, had to heal from that, had to live with that trauma. And so now Meg is stepping away from a historic opportunity on Broadway in Moulin Rouge to make sure that she's fit to just move on with life. And so I think what we need to do is remember that all of these people who are commenting on their relationship, who aren't married, you know how dating works, and you should also know how hard it is to find your forever person. And if you are married, you know it's even harder to keep that forever person, even when it's just your two, much less the entire world in your business. And so I think what that says to me is let's be more patient. Let's be honest about the fact that we don't have all the information. And if you aren't reporting facts and you're just giving your opinion, or you're just criticizing, or you're scrutinizing, or you're insulting, be honest about what you're doing. You're gossiping.
Now, my issue is, like I said before, Meg is the one who spoke about this. Klay isn't someone who we typically see come and just talk about his private life or anything of that matter. If he was someone who always had an opinion on everything, I'd be like, okay, yeah, Klay talk about everything else. He's an open book. He should come on here and defend her. But it's really Megan Thee Stallion's fans, sort of like in the way that Beyonce has the Beehive, Nicki Minaj has the Barbs, Megan has her respective following that will attack anything. I've seen a witch putting a hex or some kind of spell on Klay, or trying to do that anyway. And then I've seen, some of these women say they didn't even know who Klay was. And that's what we're seeing on social media. People defending Meg, coming at him. And I would assume those are the same people that's coming at Lexi Brown. Now, Lexi and Klay being friends, I just want to know, like, how would people want Klay to go about acknowledging any of this? Because all we've gotten is Meg's IG story, what she said to TMZ about infidelity. All we seen was Klay on a boat riding around, and that's just how he responded to it. Klay, he don't even talk about things in basketball other than when we seen, the thing with him and Ja Morant, and then he was up there giving his side of it and all that. But we don't really hear from Klay too often, and so maybe he just don't even want to talk about the infidelity or whatever. Because based off what Meg said, he said he don't know if he can be faithful. He gave you that. You go to IG with that, emotional, and I understand, women are feelers, they're emotional, and it is what it is. But when you went out there and put that out to the world, now you have a lot of fans who really, I don't want to say ride for you, but they kind of worship you. And so when something goes wrong, and it seems like it's something that upsets you, now they are on the attack defense mode, on your behalf. And so that's my only thing. That's my only little pushback against Ryan and Lexi, like, protect black women. It should just be like this is a time where a black woman should protect a black woman. If she said that, she could go on her story and say, and no, it's not Lexi. That would end it all. That would end it all. But if, like what Meg said, if Klay gave a blanket statement like, I don't know if I could be faithful, that could just be any girl. You know what I'm saying? And maybe she don't know it's not Lexi 100%. So I don't know. But Lexi saying it's definitely not her, always been a friend. We know how a lot of the WNBA players are friends with NBA players and vice versa. So, I mean, It's common. They might even use the same trainers sometime and stuff. So uh, you can't really just throw that on Lex if you ain't got no proof. So that's what I would say. But I want to know how you feel about this. Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Till next time. Peace.